Hello and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Laura and welcome to my channel. This channel is for women over 50 who feel like life has passed them by, and I'm here to tell you that we are going to have a fabulous second half of life. We're going to talk about mindset shifts and adventure and wellness and living authentically. So stick around. I have 5 tips that you should do on your scouting trip. Now, first, let's talk about what you do before your scouting trip. You need to do a lot of research up front. For example, what is the cost of living in this city or country that you are considering? What is the healthcare like? The weather? Will you feel comfortable? And are your finances already in order? Now let's assume that you have already done all of that preliminary research and you have decided on a country. The first thing you're going to do on your scouting trip is to visit several cities, or if you are settled on one city, visit several neighborhoods, but do not stay in a hotel. On your scouting trip, you should rent an apartment. You can do that through Airbnb or Vrbo. There are different ways to find apartments that you can rent. You're going to rent a fully furnished apartment, obviously, or you can just stay in the room of someone else who has an apartment. You can find that on Airbnb as well. You can say that you just want one room and maybe they will be in the other room. So you will be there living in the same city with a local person. Now, the reason you want to be in an apartment as opposed to a hotel is because you are not a tourist on this trip. If you are a tourist, you stay in a beautiful hotel, you get room service, you go on excursions, but that's not what a scouting trip is about. A scouting trip is for you to see, can I live here like I would if I were a resident? So if you're staying in an apartment, that means you're gonna get to know the neighborhood. You're going to see how it is day and night. You're going to see about the local transportation and going to the grocery stores. You are living as a local. So my first tip for this scouting trip is to stay in an apartment. Now, the second tip goes along with that first tip, which is when you're staying in that apartment, you're going to take advantage of the things that you would do if you lived in that neighborhood. You're going to shop in the grocery store. Try to avoid restaurants as much as possible because you want to go into the grocery stores. You can check the prices. You can learn about the foods, what's available, what's not available. Do they carry the spices that you're going to want? Do they carry the products that you're going to want? Or are those things you're going to need to bring with you when you move? Go to the grocery store. Maybe you can go to the laundromat. Your apartment may not have a washer and dryer. If you go to the laundromat, you may end up needing to go to the laundromat when you move there. So do that. Maybe you'll be there for several weeks. Perhaps you want to try out a local church. There are things that you can do when you're in an apartment to make you feel like a resident. So take advantage of all of those neighborhood things. My third recommendation for you to do when you are on your scouting trip is to hire a taxi driver and have this person drive you around the city. This is a great way to get to know different neighborhoods. I did this when I was in Mexico. Look at this clip right here. So Buena Vista and Campeche are just separated by
separated by the street. For the street.
Yeah, by the street. Okay. This is a very pretty neighborhood. I like the big trees and the wide streets. So we're gonna turn into Campestre. Oh, Avenue Campestre.
Yeah, Avenue Campestre, okay. Has 1, 2, 3 apartment buildings.
Oh, okay.
It's 2 of your left side and 1 on your right side.
Okay, and we'll pass by those apartment buildings.
Sorry?
We will pass by.
Yeah, sure.
Properties.
No.
Okay. So we're in Ejido now. Here's some apartments. But it's very run down around here. Not feeling it at all. No, this is not for me. Looks deserted. Like, okay, this part of Ejido is getting nicer, I think. Yeah, we can go around. Yeah. Okay.
Departamentos.
Sí.
Ahorita vamos a dar la vuelta.
Okay. Guess we're going into some sort of gated community here in Ejido.
Estos puros departamentos.
I mean, it's sketchy on one side, but it looks nice on the other. So you can see in that clip, I will ask them, the driver, questions, and I'll also mention the name of the neighborhood in the clip. That way I can remember when I get home, is this a neighborhood that I would want to be in? If you hire a driver, you can also ask questions about the neighborhood. Are there a lot of expats that live in this neighborhood, or is it mostly locals? What is there to do in this neighborhood? Is it safe? And what about what's the average apartment price in this neighborhood as well? These are great questions that your cab driver or your Uber driver may know the answer to. So hire a driver and drive around. It'll give you a real feel for the city. My next tip for when you are on a scouting trip is to see if you can get an opportunity to go into different apartments. Now, like I said, you will be staying in an apartment. You'll be staying in an apartment. So you will have a feel for that particular apartment. But if you get an opportunity, see if you can go into other apartments. Stop by and see if they will let you go in and take a look around. It's really helpful to kind of see how the layout is and what kind of things come standard in apartments. Also, you may get an idea of which apartment or types of apartments that you could live in when you live there. What type of neighborhoods? Where does this apartment located? So the next tip, like I said, is try to go in and visit inside different apartments. My final tip for when you're going on a scouting trip is to join some groups prior to your trip and then meet up with some of those people when you get there. So there are a lot of Facebook groups that are specific to different cities, and it can be broken down by gender, or maybe it's because you're a foodie, or maybe by age. But join those different Facebook groups, or maybe sign up for a meetup when you get to the city, and meet up with people who live there. Ask a lot of questions. You can ask a lot of questions beforehand, and then when you get to the city, you can see if those are accurate for you. Are those answers right for you? And if you have made connections ahead of time, reach out to those people when you get to the city and see if they will meet up with you. Maybe you can have a cup of coffee together and you can pick their brain. You can ask them a lot of questions. And again, these can be local people who live there if you speak the same language or if they speak your language, or these can be other expats who have moved into that city and they can give you the nitty-gritty and the lowdown of what it's actually like to live there. So those are my tips for things that you should do on your scouting trip. So I wish you a lot of luck, and I hope you find the city that you are looking for. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.